He's still going to shoot the other guy over a pair of shoes. So it's not poverty that pulls the trigger. It's character. This is so obvious. It's pathetic. You got to say it because it's the biggest insult to people who aren't wealthy to assume that they would be more likely to commit crime. You know, that's a slap in the face to everybody who lives in the cities, who need help from the police, that they're also being suspicious of committing crimes because they don't make enough money. If only throwing cash at a problem worked, how amazing would that be? The poorest places with the thickest safety nets would be the safest place on earth. They're not.
Absolutely right. Because if stealing toothpaste becomes something we're supposed to excuse, why wouldn't businesses eventually say, we're done and leave? These people are absolutely out of this world. What a joke. Here we have these Dems once again trying to explain away crime as nothing more than poverty, while completely, and I mean completely, ignoring the consequences for businesses and everyday Americans. They argue that stealing things like toothpaste and soap is somehow understandable if someone claims they need it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Take a look.
President Trump venturing out to the island of the Long. I'm talking Long Island, New York, folks. He's hyping up a historic drop in crime on his watch, the largest year-to-year decrease in violent crime since the FBI started keeping track in 1937, and marking 1 year of his deployment of the National Guard to D.C. Watch.
I mean, you remember just a couple of years ago how bad it was, right? It was really bad. Foreign gangs, savage thugs with Biden. Sleepy Joe. We call them Democrats now because their policies are so dumb. Fighting to defund the police. Does that play well in this room? You go into a store, you buy something, you buy a toothbrush, you buy some toothpaste. Now you have to open up glass. It's no way to run a business.
Yeah, CVS. Speaking of locking up toothbrushes, this wackadoodle New York City assemblywoman says stealing one, it's no biggie.
Most of what we saw were crimes of poverty. People who were stealing things like toothpaste. People who were stealing things like, soap. And that means if you're stealing those things, you need that. The true crime is that there is such incredible wealth disparity in this city.
But this is an easy one. Like, this is one of those things that I don't understand why Democrats, and I understand it's the far left who violates this the most often. You know, it's like they say ridiculous things like this, like, oh, they're crimes of poverty. No, they're actually like organized gangs that go into Greg's point and rob CVS's. But then you have people like Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, who's like, people do meth because they have bad teeth. If we give them better teeth, they'll just stop doing meth. So why can't Democrats go, yeah, maybe we should have stricter laws against stealing stuff?
Well, I would welcome the montage of the Democrats who do say it, because they do exist. Dan Lurie exists. Matt Mahan exists. Josh Shapiro exists. Has the highest approval rating of any governor in the country. And he's in a swing state. Andy Bashir, please, I beg of you. I want that real. Randy Fine's neighbor.
Could not resist.
But this is the layup. And you've just got to take it as the party, because this is one of the only issues that the Republicans still lead on, is crime and policing.
And immigration.
No, actually, not
and common
anymore.
sense and trans.
Greg, you were muttering during her remarks.
Well, first of all, this is not about toothpaste. It's about cases of toothpaste, which are stolen, sold online or on the street. And then what were the consequences? Everything gets put behind glass, as Trump says, which isn't CVS's fault. They just need to save whatever thin margin they got. But worse, and what this lady, that extremely attractive Democrat 10, should be ashamed of, is that shoplifting turned big city drugstores into ghost towns. In New York City alone, half of the pharmacies have shuttered. And it's been happening in New York, Chicago, obviously San Francisco. If you make stealing toothpaste a defensible lifestyle choice, the stores will decide to go elsewhere. As for this wealth, what do you call it? Inequality, which is ridiculous, tying crime to poverty. More welfare does not equal less crime. We have decades of proof on that. Transferring wealth to the poor doesn't prevent murder, assault, or robbery, which are crimes of impulse, culture, and ego, not because you don't have cheese or beer. You can give a guy a bag of groceries, he's still going to shoot the other guy over a pair of shoes. So it's not poverty that pulls the trigger, it's character. This is so obvious, it's pathetic, you got to say it, because it's the biggest insult to people who aren't wealthy to assume that they would be more likely to commit crime. You know, that's a slap in the face to everybody who lives in the cities, who need help from the police, that they're also being suspicious of committing crimes because they don't make enough money. If only throwing cash at a problem worked, how amazing would that be? The poorest places with the thickest safety nets would be the safest place on earth. They're not.
Yeah, and
it's the opposite.
And school districts in New York, Washington, D.C., and L.A. would produce laureates in every.
These lefties are absolutely clueless. Are we really supposed to believe that simply throwing more welfare money at poverty is going to make crime disappear? If that were true, wouldn't the places with the biggest safety nets automatically be the safest? Yet somehow, that's not what we see. Not at all. What an absolute joke. If these Dems don't get it together, we're going to have more of this bull crap. People are truly out of control. How the heck are we supposed to look at people stealing massive amounts of merchandise and call that necessity? Seriously? At some point, doesn't somebody have to admit what's actually happening here? This isn't about somebody grabbing one item because they're desperate. This is about people exploiting weak enforcement and treating businesses like they're free shopping centers. And these left-wing leaders just keep making excuses for them. What a freaking joke. Look, we don't need another damn law. We need to enforce the laws we already have on the books. What good is a law if criminals know nothing is going to happen to them? You can write 1,000 new laws, but if nobody enforces them, they're completely meaningless. Point blank, period. And then these same politicians wonder why crime keeps happening. Seriously? How stupid can you be? Look, I'm also tired of hearing Democrats tell everyone to understand criminal behavior. Understand what? That businesses should just keep getting robbed? That employees should feel unsafe? That customers should have to deal with locked up merchandise everywhere they go? Give me a damn break. Eventually, businesses are going to say enough is enough and leave. And when they leave, what happens to the jobs? What happens to the tax revenue? What happens to the communities? Look at what's happening in places like Oakland and San Francisco. When you tolerate this order long enough, businesses don't have to stay and suffer through it. They can take their money and leave. And that's the part these dimwits don't seem to understand. You cannot destroy the environment for businesses and then act shocked when businesses disappear. These people are completely clueless. But hey, maybe the left has another excuse ready. What a freaking joke. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.